And then, Her Majesty, the Queen of England, found herself in a spot of bother this weekend while celebrating Christmas. Queen Elizabeth was enjoying a low-key Christmas Day at Windsor Castle when an intruder broke in armed with a crossbow. Has to be the most English thing I've heard. The man was eventually caught and taken into custody. I, for one, would love to thank the guys over at Marvel, Kevin Feige and his team. How did you guys convince the Queen to take part in quite possibly the best post-credit scene ever? Hawkeye breaking into Windsor Castle. Amazing. And the Queen, I didn't even know she liked Marvel. I always took her as a DC gal. And then, the JMPD had one of their branded vehicles stolen this past week in Soweto. The police were responding to a complaint of a tent that had been erected in the middle of the road. And while they were interviewing residents, the suspects got into the car and drove away with it. The car was found 3 hours later, abandoned and in a damaged state. The police have confirmed that fingerprints have been taken and a docket has been opened. The most shocking thing about this, for me, is 3 hours. Our SAPs worked for 3 hours investigating something and then also took fingerprints. I didn't even know it was possible. But if this investigation goes like any of the investigations that SAPs is part of, the conclusion is going to be the same. Did you find the vehicle? Yes. Were the suspects there? No. Manje ufuna senzeni. And that's if the docket doesn't disappear between now and then. And then, if one of your dreams was to have dinner with President Cyril Ramaphosa, the ANC has made it possible. All for the small fee of 1.2 million rand. Yikes. This is part of the ANC's efforts to try and raise some funds in order to cover the recent broke phase they've been going through. And don't worry, if 1.2 million is too expensive for you, there are different tiers of this offering. For example, for 1 million rand, you could sit next to the man, the myth, the legend himself, David D.D. Mabuza, and ask him to explain some of the more complex things of government to you.
With regards to the first and the second and the third, that's a new question which we can explore.
Madam Speaker,
There's no something like
point
that.
of order.
Yes.
What is your point of order?
I really want to impress upon you, Deputy President. Do not come to Parliament to speak about the things when you don't understand them.
It ought to be fun. Another example, for those who can't hit 7 figures, is that just for 95,000 rand, you could sit next to Uncle Gwede. Or if you're really cheap, you could skip every single level and go down to the 5,000 rand offering. Where, sure, you're sitting at the back, you have random ANC people around you, but you get to brag about breathing the same corrupt air as the ANC lead. It may rub off on you. You may even win a tent. And then, potholes are a huge problem in South Africa. And in an effort to curb this problem, the city of Johannesburg has decided to embark on creating a digital twin of the city. This 3D model would take every complaint and map it out so they know exactly where to go and how to plan for fixing those problems. Which is great, but there are a few issues. One, the staff is already struggling with Microsoft Office and Chrome and those things. So you propose to give them more technology to deal with? Don't know how that's going to work out. Number two, the current system is almost always down. So your solution is to implement a program that's going to be even more resource intensive. Will it ever be up? And number three, the process from reporting an issue to having it fixed is already long enough. So you want to add a whole new step to try and make that more efficient. So I report it, then somebody has to map it in a 3D world, and only then does planning start to fix it. I don't know. I'm not feeling pretty confident about that. But I have to give it to the city of Joburg. So committed are they to disappointing us that they've thought ahead and figured out a way to provide that same premium disappointment in Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse. I mean, genius.